Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live telecast of the Sim Races Asia GTE Asia Pacific Series, coming to you live from Le Mans in France for the final round, round 11 of this fantastic series. And as you can see, the cars are out there at the moment just doing their qualifying, and we'll be racing very shortly. But if we have a look at our qualifying standings as they stand, we've got Anthony Winkleman at the moment on provisional pole, with Mike Burdett sitting in second. David Lord, he's sitting in third. Jazarine Jali in fourth. Andika Rama Molana fifth. Ilham Halabi sitting in sixth. Seventh, George Johnson. Then we've got Federico Duarte Joachim in eighth. Kim Kyong Ao ninth, and Tim Shinosky in 10th position. I'm your commentator tonight, folks, Bernie Weemers. I'm here on my Matt Malone, or Pat Malone, or whatever you want to call it. I'm here by myself anyway. Wei Han Chan's still over there in China having a holiday, and Daniel Leet is having some time off, which is very good. But we're going to be getting racing here very shortly, that's for sure. Now, having a look at the points at the moment, folks, Ilham Halabi comes into this round as the championship leader. He's on 718 points. Martin Silvassi, though, is still trying to chase him down. 646 points. Brooke Craig sitting in third on 605 points, and he's battling it out for the last step of the podium with Mike Burdett, who's on 603 points. Kevin Huang, he's the last person well, he's not last, he's fifth, and he's on 595 points. So having a look at those points, the sums are Ilham Halabi basically has to finish 15th or better tonight, and he will take out the big prize of that Caterham Motorsports day drive, and I'm sure he's looking forward to that. Now remember, folks, well, don't remember, tonight is the only enduro we have here, so it's a 90-minute enduro. They can have one or two drivers out there driving tonight, it's up to them. So as such, we have 13 cars that will be contending tonight, with a total of around about 26 drivers. So it looks pretty good for Ilham Halabi at the moment of taking this championship out, and we can see him on screen at the moment doing his laps, and the laps around here, 3 minutes 48 seconds is his best lap around here. Anthony Winkleman, though, 3 minutes 46 seconds, so he's a good 2 seconds a lap faster. See Anthony out here at the moment and putting in a lap. We'll see, well, he's got pole, but let's have a look at his lap time at the moment. 3 minutes 59, so he's just on a warm-up there. Mike Burdett, though, he's just starting his hot lap, so we might follow him around, see if he can actually take pole position here. His best time, 3 minutes 47 seconds. And he needs to get in the 3 minute 46 seconds. As you can see, the bottom left hand corner, you can see the target he's aiming for and the live count there of how he's progressing. So while we're watching that, we'd also, that's the wrong sponsors. Oh dearie me, what a night. Yeah, I'd like to thank Caterham Motorsports for backing this fantastic series, as well as Imperatio Renovatio Motorsport Management, and of course Sim Talk Asia for backing this series. If it wasn't for those businesses, we would not be able to bring you this fantastic series. See now he's just coming down to Mulsanne, roughly about half distance or just over half distance here, heavy on the brakes, and very hard corner here. You want to really get a good exit off here to propel you up this straight. A lot of straights here at Le Mans, but a lot of critical corners also. See as he's coming up here, he's reaching 200 and 86, 87, 290. He's peaking around about 291 kilometers an hour. So very quick in these GTE cars. See now he's got just about 40 seconds to make it to the end of this lap, as he'll be coming into the forward curves now and then off to Indianapolis. See now 344, 345, he's just going to miss out. 347, 885, he does not improve, and that's the end of our qualifying, folks. So I'll take you through the grid very shortly, and we can get this race underway. So looking at our top 10 at the moment, it's Anthony Winkleman, David Lord in second, and we'll see who's out on the track trying to complete it. Well, they are all in the pits: Mike Burdett, Jason Jali, Jazreen Jali, and Ndika Ramamulana. We do have Ilham Halabi out there at the moment trying to put in a fast lap, but I think he might run out of time because he's just now coming into a nage, and he's still got the Porsche curves to go. See him now just coming down through, where is he, in the Corvette, and then he'll be coming up, well, he's coming into Corvette next, just through the Porsche curves, up to Corvette, forward, and then up to the start-finish straight. So far 3 minutes 34 seconds, and we'll see if he can improve. But as I was saying, he has to finish 15th or better, and there's only 13 entries here tonight, so he could virtually park the car, walk away, and he's guaranteed to take out this championship tonight, unless of course he gets a DNF. No, that shouldn't matter anyway. Who knows? So the only car out there at the moment is Mike Burdett, and he is going to start in 3rd position tonight. And as I was saying earlier, for those who have just joined us, it is a 90-minute endurance race, minimum 1 driver, maximum 2. They don't have to change drivers, but most of them have paired up. That is why we have 13 cars here tonight at Le Mans. So let's have a look at our weather tonight. It's 25 degrees Celsius, so very cool out there, but the track, a huge 13.55 kilometres or 8.42 miles, depending where you're from. So apart from Nürburgring, this would have to be one of the biggest, longest tracks I think we go to on the iRacing service. So while the guys are getting ready to start this race, let's go and have a look at our grid, and you can see where your favourite team will be starting tonight. So Trick Sim Sports will start from pole position tonight. Their pole driver was Anthony Winkleman, 3 minutes 46.227. Simfei Motorsports will start on the first row beside them in 2nd. In 3rd tonight on the 2nd row, Delta Sim Sports 404, and they'll be joined by YLab01. In 5th tonight, YLab GT Sim will start in 5th, followed by SRE Endurance Team in 6th position. Starting out of 7th tonight is Slow Johnson Racing. Then we have Macau Sim Racing Team 1 out of 8th. Macau Sim Racing Team 3, they will start in 9th position tonight, with Western PA iRacing starting yellow in 10th. Out of 11th is Macau Sim Racing Team 2, and then 12th is YLab Alien Needs. Then rounding out the field of 13 is, who is that? Indra Ferriento, YLab Alien Needs. See, now the cars are just starting to take to the grid, and we will be racing very shortly. It's 90 minutes timed race tonight, time certain race, and 2 drivers, so they've made it double the time they'd normally run, which would be a 45-minute sprint race. As you can see, we're just waiting now, and it's a rolling start here to make a series for those just coming in at the tail end of this. The Ford GTE versus the Ferrari 488 GTE. As far as points go for those just joining us, Ilham Halabi, he just has to get 15th or better tonight, and he will take out the championship. There are 13 cars, so short of DNFing, he's in with a very, very good chance of taking out this series tonight. So we can see up the front here will be Anthony Winkleman starting the race tonight, and he will have control of the field when the safety car goes in, and then we'll continue racing. They're lapping around about the 3 minutes 47, so in 90 minutes, if anyone has a abacus available, calculate that and that'll tell you how many laps we can expect them to do tonight. And if you do find that out, let me know. See now the safety car will be coming in, and then Anthony Winkleman, he will have control of this field. They can go on green, so no doubt as soon as the green light's on, he's going to put the foot down and try to clear this field. See up the back there, Tim Shinosky just weaving the car, trying to get some heat into those tyres. He will be starting out a 13th tonight, and the safety car will come in now. And as I said, Anthony Winkleman will have control. You can hear the jets flying over. I don't think we can see them from the blimp, but no, we can't. Okay, waiting for the green light now. They've got one more chicane to go, and then we'll be racing here at Le Mans for a 90-minute race. And here we go, lap one of many, and Anthony Winkleman has a fantastic start straight off. And having a look as everyone streams through, I'll be able to give you that top 10. So Anthony Winkleman is leading Mike Burdett in second. He's just taken Brock Craig there for third. Jazrin Jali, good start there, fourth. Fifth, Endika Rama Molana in the YLab team. Saiful Arifin, he's sitting in sixth. Seventh, Kevin Huang. Eighth, Matt Shinosky. Ninth is Simon George Sanchez, and then Carlos Fu. They round out your top 10. See now Brock Craig has taken Mike Burdett. What's happened to Mike? He's slowing a lot, and everyone's going past. I wouldn't be surprised if he's had an off track. Let's jump back and see if we can work out exactly what happened. We saw him last when he passed Brock Craig here, and we'll see if he's had an off track. Good so far. I can't see any problems with this yet. What's happening with Brock there? He's taken the inside, and all of a sudden Mike has just started to slow. Just see driving in with him here, he's just backed right off, and I'd say that car is going to have a very long tow home. What's he doing? He might have... Oh boy, he nearly got cleaned up by Tim Shinosky there. Bit of a mystery, I'm not sure what's going on with him. So let's jump up front anyway. Anthony Winkleman at the moment has a big gap back to Brock Craig. Then Endika Rama Molana snaking behind Brock to try and make a move here. They'll be coming into Michelin very short. No, they're coming into Mulsanne, sorry, and then up this big long straight and into Indianapolis and then Anage. Now the Ford is just trying to get in the slipstream. He's just picking it up now, and he'll be coming straight into Indianapolis now. And look at the can. Oh, he's lost it. Wow. Well, you were there with us, folks, when he spun that around. It looks like he's locked it up under brakes there. Yeah, he locked it up under brakes, and I tell you what, two lucky drivers there. One was Brock Craig, and Saiful Arifin was the other one that could have very easily got involved in that incident, but they all survive, and we can see now Endika Rama Molana, he settled back into 5th position. So one of the viewers wants to know whether the Fords are going to get slaughtered here tonight like they did in the Le Mans 24 Hour. Well, let's have a look at the marks and where they sit. So Anthony Winkleman at the moment is in a Ferrari, Brock Craig Ferrari, Sayaful Arifin Ferrari, Matt Shinosky Ferrari, Indika Ramamulana, he's in the first of the Fords, and then we have another two Fords followed by a Ferrari. So at the moment the Ferraris definitely have the upper hand here. See now Team YLab here, the GT Sim, and Indika Ramamulana starting to recover from that, coming up on the back of Matt Shinosky. And it looks like we may have had a retirement, folks. Indra Ferianto in the number 6. It looks like they've parked that car. So we are now down to 12 drivers in this series. Just having a look, I'm not sure what's happened to Indra there, but meanwhile now we can see Indika here making a move on the outside. We'll be coming down into Forza and then up to Michelin, and he makes that move under brakes quite easily, so he moves up to 4th. The next person he'll be targeting is Sayaful Arifin in the Ferrari. Looks like Indika has suffered a little bit of fender damage after that brake lock-up, so hopefully it's not going to affect his top-end speed too much as he comes into Michelin now, and he's holding his own there. And a good exit there, right out. Yep, nice exit. These roads are so wide, you know, it's very rare you see them right out there unless you're doing multi-class racing and they take to the apron to overtake the slower cars, which is what we did see in the Le Mans 24 Hour a few times. So thank you to everybody who's joined me tonight on this final round of the SRA GTE Asia Pacific Series. Those just joined you, we're doing a 90-minute enduro race tonight. We have, looks like 11 cars left running here. Paul Nelson's just parked the 55. No, he's still going. But what's going on with him? No, he has parked that car. So doesn't look like that car's going anywhere at all. See if we can work out what has caused this latest retirement here. It's coming down into Mulsanne. Oh, he's just locked it up, rear end. Bit of good wheel work going on there, Mr. Paul. Definitely looks like Paul's been having a lot of internet issues there tonight, but at the moment one person that isn't is Anthony Winkleman. He's extending this lead to 5.2 seconds, and we've still got an hour and 22 minutes of this race remaining. Sayaful Arifin, he's a good 3 seconds down from Brock Craig in second. Then we've got Indika Ramamulana, Matt Shinosky, Mike Burdett. That is your top 6. Just having a look. Can't see Ilham Halabi out there at the moment. He'll have his teammate driving the car he's in. And I'm just trying to find out where their car is at the moment. Has to finish 15th or better. So we've only had one retirement so far tonight. See now Mike Burdett, he's still on the recovery drive here. He's coming up behind Matt Shinosky, and he should make this move pretty easily. does. He makes it quite easily, as now they're coming under braking into Forza here, and 1 hour 20 minutes to go. They've done a whole 2 laps. They're on their 3rd now. Sorry about that, folks. I just had to get my abacus out. Okay, so I just did a little bit of maths here. I reckon we're going to see them complete about 26 laps in this 90-minute race, and we'll see how close we are. And your commentary team tonight is myself, Bernie Weemers. Unfortunately, I did have Alex Pohl lined up to join me tonight, but unfortunately he's come down with the dreaded lurgy, and he's been quite ill since Wednesday. So if you're watching, Alex, I hope you get better very soon, and we look forward to you rejoining this series when it resumes, probably next year, I think, at this stage. Of course, Wei Han Chan, he's got his feet up at the moment in China drinking iced tea, so it's good for some, and he's been having an awesome holiday over there with family. He's also gone and met the, I think it was the Macau racing team, or one of the Chinese racing teams over there, and having a fantastic time. Of course, he will be flying back to Singapore very shortly because he has to go to the Grand Prix, so I'm sure he'll enjoy that as well. So now Anthony Winkleman going across. This gap is getting ever so larger. It is now, what's the gap now? 7.6 seconds. So Anthony has absolutely cleared out, and there's no one even looking like catching him at the moment. His best lap was a 3 minutes 48.308, and Brock Craig did a 3:49.257, and so the rest of them are in the 3:49s. The only other fast car out here is Mike Burdett, who's now coming up behind Ndika Ramamulana and trying to move back up into 4th. And for those just joining us, he was running in 3rd, but it looked like he had a slowdown or some sort of problem at this part of the track on lap 1, and he dropped right to the end of the field. So now closing in under slipstream. Is he going to have a look? He is, and heavy under the brakes here. And yeah, what's he done? He's got through. It looks like Ndika led him through there. Bit cautious, doesn't want to bend fenders this early on in the race. A long way to go, and the worst thing you want to do is take a bent car back to your teammate. Of course, he's already carrying that fender damage, which we saw came up when he lost it at under brakes there coming into Indianapolis, and spun the car around. Very lucky to get away with that one. So at the moment, folks, 11 cars remain out of the field of 13. Paul Nelson in the 55, that car has retired. Not sure what it was. It was either some sort of hardware failure or a potential internet failure, but he's chosen to park that car after it got towed back to the pits. And the number 6, Indra Ferriento, was in that car at the time. that car also retired pretty much on the first lap. I can't see what has caused that. He hasn't had an accident, so it looks like he's also suffered some sort of failure. See here, Jali trying to catch Matt Shinosky here the last laps. Jazreen was 3 seconds faster, so we might stay with him for a bit because I think he's going to be closing up on Matt in the next lap or so. And he's driving for YLab01, currently sitting in 7th position. He's dropped 3 positions from where he started tonight, in 4th. Tricky part of the circuit there, coming up into Ford. It's tighter than the cameras give justice, that's for sure. It's a very, very tricky part of the circuit with nice big bollards to grab your car and bend the suspension as well. So now he's got the toe, and he should make this pass fairly easily as they come down to Forza here, waiting for the last minute to pull out, and should be a fairly easy move, which it is. Matt lifted there and facilitated the pass. No point battling this early on. 4th position because there's still a long way to go. They're probably around about the 15% total distance of this race. See Leonardo and Simon George Sanchez here also battling. Leonardo's in the Macau Sim Racing team. We can see now Simon also with Macau Sim Racing Team 3, and boy, they don't want to come together, because if they do, there's going to be an interesting debrief in Macau Sim Racing. While Weihan Chan was in China, as I was saying, he caught up with these boys, and we will be bringing you that interview. Not tonight, of course, but soon it'll be on the RRTV YouTube channel for you all to watch, and as well as other channels. So we're all about trying to promote sim racing, and one big area that I think, if it got promoted well, would be China, and I think it would absolutely explode over there. See now Leonardo making a move on the inside, too wide here. Who's going to win? The Ferrari does, as the Ford backs out of it, and that brings Leonardo up to 8th position, and already he's starting to create a big gap there. Simon just clouded the wall there, and that was basically up at the Porsche curves here. Went very wide, and hopefully hasn't given that car too much damage, but it's going to definitely affect his top end speed. So he must be fairly happy with the handling of this car, because he didn't dive into the pits. If you misjudge that and don't go into the pits at this point, it can be a very, very long way around. And as I was saying at the pre-race show, basically 13.5 kilometres is the total track length of Le Mans. You can already see rocks being thrown up as the track starts getting dirty out here. They've completed 5 laps, probably as he's run wide again. And I expect them to complete around about 26 laps of Le Mans by the time the 90 minutes is up. So the field is getting quite strung out now. We can see Jazarine Jali down here in 6th, but if we go back up to the leader, Anthony Winkleman for Trick Sim Sports is leading the charge here. He's got a gap of 9.1 seconds. Then we have Brock Craig for Simfi Motorsports in the 2nd. He's got about 3-second gap back to Sayeful Arifin SRE Endurance Team. Mike Burdett, then Delta Sim Sports 404, is making his way back up the front after the start where he dropped to the back of the pack. Then we've got Ndika Rama Molana for YLab GT Sim sitting in 5th position. See how much curb they have to take to get through the Ford S's there, and they're using every little bit of the track they possibly can to get the most speed out of these cars. See now some of the drivers are choosing to come in. Indika Ramalana, the first of the pit stoppers there, no driver change, comes out 19.7 seconds. We have Leonardo in the pits at the moment. Let's bring up the pit stop there. He's still in there. We just saw Simon George Sanchez go out, no driver change there, 16.3 seconds, as was Leonardo stop. Carlos Fu also has made a stop, and 15.3 seconds was their pit stop. So I'd say what we will see here, folks, is they will probably run for the 45 minutes, which will include, it'll be like a double stint for these boys, because I think they're running 50% fuel, and then we should expect driver changes for the last 45 minutes of this race. No one has changed drivers at this point. See Kevin Huang out here for Slow Johnson Racing, sitting in 7th. And, you can hear the beautiful sounds of the Ford there as he puts the foot down, throwing rocks up as he's coming down. Where is he? Just out of Mulsanne, coming up, I think, towards Indianapolis. So we're just backing off here, coming through Indianapolis, nice and easy. And he's definitely got the rhythm going now, not overly stressing this car at all, just making sure he brings it back relatively unbent. But as you can see, he's also got a left front fender bent on that car. We've seen a few Ford GTs suffering from that. So we can see now our race leader has come into the pits, and we'll try and get a time on him. He's got such a big lead, I don't think he's going to lose it, but you can see he's staying in the car. Brock Craig also in the pits at the moment as well for Simfi Motorsports. Mike Burdett brought the Delta Sim Sports in. Anthony Winkleman now coming out, 18.5 seconds. Then who's the next one to come out? The whole field, apart from one, is in. David Lord, he did a 12.1, jumped a couple of positions by the looks of it. Great stop there. Jazreen Jali also in the pits at the moment, 17 seconds. And who's that? Matt Shinosky, Jazreen Jali coming out nose to tail. And Matt Shinosky did a 14.4 second stop compared to Jazreen Jali, and he's come straight out to battle with David Lord. I said his stop was quick, but it wasn't. It was 32.1 seconds, and he's already dropped one of those positions, and it looks like Jazreen Jali is also going to take him very shortly. I'm not sure what is happening with David there. He's been very, very tentative, and he nearly gets cleaned up there by Jazreen. Jump on board and see if we can work out what's going on. Might have helped if we had jumped in the right car, but anyway, let's have a look at David Lord here. What sort of speed is he pulling in this car? It looks like he's about 30 kilometres an hour slower than the car's up ahead of him. He's slowly getting it up to speed, but it's just not looking like he's getting full throttle in this car. Whatever it was, looks like it's been cleared. Maybe he's just overfilled it or something, but just doesn't seem as fast as the other guys that have now cleared out. You can't even see them as he comes down the Mulsanne. The only car that has not stopped yet, folks, is Kevin Huang. He's sitting in fourth at the moment, but I'd say he will have to bring that car in this lap because he must be just about on vapours here. Everyone else has stopped apart from him, and jump on board with him now. He's just tucked up behind Mike Burdett, you can see, and then Sayafel Arifin. Those two are starting to get into a good battle, and you can just see him lifting now. So Mike Burdett here battling with Sayafel Arifin. The gap was, it's probably down to about a second at the moment. Let's see if Kevin Huang's coming in. He does come into the pit, so his target, folks, about 18 seconds will be a average stop as he goes really wide on entry there, and he doesn't want to do that. But yeah, 18 seconds is an average time, 14 seconds is a brilliant time, and anything past 19 is a slow time. So he's bringing Slow Johnson Racing in now, and we'll see what sort of time he does. You can see there Kevin Huang out, George Johnson in, and that's the first of our driver changes tonight, so they look like they're doing an alternating strategy. So far they have been sitting there 19.7 seconds, and it looks like they aren't going to be moving anytime soon. But let's get back up to Sayafel here. He's defending from Mike Burdett here for second position. Mike Burdett makes that move pretty easily, as we're on the nose cam now with Sayafel Arifin for SRE Endurance Team, and yeah, once they get that tow going, there's no point really fighting it because they're just going to drive on by anyway. See now Sayafel's getting back in the draft here. He's up 4 positions from where he started, and sitting in third, so having a great drive there. And now Mike Burdett starts the arduous task of trying to close this gap on Anthony Winkleman. The gap is now over 14 seconds, folks, so Trick Motorsport is just absolutely blitzing them at the moment. We can see further back Jazrin Jali here, and Matt Shinosky also in a bit of a battle going on, and this is for 5th and 6th position. looks like this car's looking a little bit tight there. We just saw a bit of push going on as he came into the Porsche curves there, backed it off a bit. Bit deceptive, this part of the circuit. You really got to work the car to get it to turn in and basically balance the throttle and the brake. Just having a look here, Mike Burdett's dropped back to third position. He's dropped a fair ways down too, over 3 seconds from Sayerfeld. So let's see if we can find out. He has had an off track, so let's jump back and see what exactly has happened to Mike Burdett here. Yeah, he just got it unsettled there through the forward curves there. Took a bit too much curb and unsettled the car. Just couldn't turn it. But that's what I was saying earlier. They take a lot of that curb, and if you take too much, it can very much unsettle that car. So all that hard work he put in earlier has all come to naught, and he's going to have to start closing in again. He's got around about 3 seconds to make up on Sayerfeld. Looking at their lap times, he's closing in at around about 0.8 of a second per lap. So it's going to take him quite a few laps to remedy that mistake. So the field is getting quite strung out here, folks, and unfortunately I cannot throw a yellow, otherwise I probably would, and close them all up. But we'll see how the race goes. As I said at the start of the broadcast, Ilham Halabi's coming in as the favourite here, and he has just got to finish 15th. Well, he's just got to finish and he will take out the championship. But Anthony Winkleman is doing all he can do to try to take the challenge to him, and you know, it's just not going to be enough. I spoke to Anthony in between broadcasts about his late form to this series, and he's been quite dominant for the past 4 rounds, and one regret he said he had in this series was that he didn't come in and run it earlier, because if he had he would have been in a very, very good position to actually take out this series possibly. So no doubt next year we could see him coming back and contending for a full series. So folks, tonight's broadcast will wrap up a big week here on RRTV, and if you didn't catch our earlier broadcast, we just finished the world's fastest gamer broadcast, the Australian split, and that was a rather interesting race. And Friday night we had the V8 supercars, and if you haven't seen that, jump back and have a look at that telecast. I had Nick Hausler there. Thursday night we had the Thursday Night Thunder Truck Series with Ryan Shelton, and that was also an awesome race. And then of course Wednesday night it all started with the Wankel Australia New Zealand Championship and you wouldn't want to say that if you had too many drinks. And looking forward on RRTV, Monday night I'll be joined with Alex McKellar. The Skip Barber Monday Night Lights is coming back for its 10th season, and of course you'll get all the action here on RRTV. If you're not familiar with that series, it's basically the Australian Strength of Field race, and the guys in all splits can also run for points to take out the Monday Night Lights Championship. Generally, it's in the top 5 strength of field, and last season we did have a couple of the top strength of fields in the world, and as such we're getting a lot of Europeans joining us, and the Aussie New Zealand club and the Asian Drivers Club comes out to play on the Monday nights. It's at 9:15 p.m. GMT plus 10, or if you're joining us through iRacing Live, check it out for your local time. See now Mike Burdett's starting to close in on Safil again. The gap was 2.5 seconds. I'd say it's probably down to 1.5 seconds at the moment, and using all the track he possibly can to shortcut it to try to close this gap up. It's very, very good under brakes here, closed up probably 3 car lengths, and I think he's going to have a crack at him, probably maybe up towards Porsche curves, or he's going to wait until he comes through Tetra Rouge and that long straight. He should be able to make that pass into Forza. So yeah, and for the folks that aren't sure what the world's fastest gamer is, it's a great initiative from the McLaren Formula 1 team. They're in search of the next Formula 1 simulation driver. And if you're not sure what those guys do, well, basically they have their main driver, they have their test drivers, they also have their simulation drivers, which are back in the factory there. They will be testing setups and sending that data back to the team at the track, and because they can't get as much test time as they want, so they use simulation drivers. So McLaren are basically on the search for that driver. They're looking at all gamers from consoles. They're looking at people that have driven in the Forza series, Gran Turismo for the PlayStation, R-Factor 2. They're searching there, as well as on iRacing, and it's iRacing's turn at the moment. For the next 4 weeks, we will be looking for the fastest iRacing driver in the Formula 1 to be invited to the finals. Once they get to the finals, there'll be 10 accepted. Then the hard work comes with interviews to see how they conduct themselves in front of the media. They'll have to do driver tests, reflex tests, health tests, interviews, and the list goes on. And at the end of it, they'll find the world's fastest gamer who will get a contract with McLaren Formula 1 as their simulation driver. So already we've got Gregor Hutu. He was pre-selected, so he's in the top 6 at the moment, and we'll be having another iRacer joining him after the 4-week series. So looking at our race leader, Anthony Winkleman for Trick Sim Sports. He's out the gap now, 17.7 seconds back to Seyfried. And then once again, Mike Burdett has dropped off. He seems to just pull him in, and then something happens and he drops back again. But you can see him now as they come down towards Mulsanne. trying to close that gap once again. I can't see that he's had any off tracks, but one person that has had an off track was Simon George Sanchez, and we're having a look at that replay now to see exactly what happened to him. They're coming up to Porsche, so hopefully he hasn't caused any damage to that beautifully presented Macau Sim Racing Team Ford GT. Oh, hold on to it. And he does. Man, I thought he was going to find the fence, but good driving there by Simon George. I think he scared himself there as well, folks. He's backing off a little bit to catch his breath. Another person that has had an off was Carlos Fu, but now Hugo Silva is in that car, so we'll see what has happened to Carlos back here. Again, coming into the Porsche curves by the looks of it, very tricky part of the circuit, and yeah, same thing, just running wide though. And pretty much in the same part of the circuit as Simon did. And then he's pretty much brought that straight in and handed the keys over to Hugo Silva, who's now in the car. So we've still got 11 cars running at the moment, and we'll take you through those cars now. So as I was saying, Anthony Winkleman, Trick Sim Sports is leading the way. 20 seconds is the gap. Saiful Arifin, SRE Endurance Team, is under pressure here from Mike Burdett, and we'll stay with this because we've got a bit of action and we want to catch all the action we possibly can in this telecast. Just over halfway here, folks. 42 minutes of this final round remaining. As you see there, Mike using all the track he possibly can. The car is just not as quick as Saiful through this part, and then he's going to have to rely on this toe to make the pass. Just now the toe's starting to work, but he's just what's he going to do? Is he going to have a dive, or is he going to think about it? No, he's going to back out, wait till I get through the Forza chicane, and he'll have a go coming up towards Michelin. So he makes that pass reasonably easy. He did have to work for it though. He had to use the whole straight and the slipstream to make that work for him. But getting back to it now, David Lord, he's sitting in fourth for Simfei Motorsports. Leonardo Lopez is in fifth position, getting it a little bit wrong there, coming through the Forza chicane. And then we've got Tim Shinosky sitting in sixth position, up four from where he started. And then seventh, Armin Hazik is in this car for YLab 01. Eighth position, George Johnson, Slow Johnson Racing, and he's teamed up with, forgot his name, there you go, Kim Kyung Ao sitting in ninth position, up one. Then we've got Hugo Silva Jr. in 10th, and Dika Ramamolana, he's in taking service at the moment, and he's been in there for quite a while, so we'll try and work out what's happened to him. Could be our third retirement. Of course, we've lost Paul Nelson in the 55 due to some sort of hardware-related issue, and Indra Ferianto also suffered some sort of failure, which put an end to his night. I'm just having a look. There's nothing that's telling me that Ndika Ramamolana has had any sort of off-track. The car doesn't look damaged, so hopefully it's not another hardware failure. Wow, that's a bright roof. I'm assuming that's a roof. See now the leader, Anthony Winkleman, coming through. He's coming to put a lap down on Hugo Silva. Oh, contact. You don't want to be doing that when you're leading a race. Ferrari's got a little bit of a dent on there, and I wouldn't be surprised. No, these Ferraris, they're very strong. Doesn't look like he's got much damage on the front of that car either. So I'm not sure if you folks caught the Sandown race today. If you haven't watched it yet, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is definitely worth watching. If you did watch it, you know what I'm talking about. That top corner, very scary stuff. So you can see this Ford for YLab GT Sim is still sitting in there. They've been sitting a long time, so I don't think we're going to see that car back out tonight. Predicting that is going to be our next retirement, and something catastrophic has happened to that car. To ride with Phil Arafin as he comes in. Look how tight the pit entry is there, and now on the brakes so he doesn't get a pit entry penalty there. And you can just see Mike Burdett up here. So once again, race for the pit stops. Let's watch these two teams go at it and see if Phil can actually gain on the pits. See now Mike Burdett in, and Phil is also having his pit. Harlan Sanders has jumped in with Mike Burdett. Martin Silvassi has jumped in with to take over from Anthony Winkleman, they are out. Ilham Halabi, the season champion, is also jumping in to the number 10, and he should be out very shortly. So you can see Ilham Halabi now coming out in third position, and Harlan Sanders just ahead of him. You can see Brock Craig sitting here taking service at the moment as well, and looks like he's going to go the whole race by himself. I can't see him getting out yet, and I'd say he's going to do the 90 minutes without a co-driver. He's just coming out in front of Armin Haziq here, and that is for position, so Brock's going to want to get up to speed pretty quick, otherwise he's going to find himself a bit vulnerable for that position. While we ride with Armin Haziq here, looking at the pit stop times, the 96 Anthony Winkleman, Martin Silvassi, Trick Sim Sports, 31.5 seconds. The 404 with Harlan Sanders taking to the wheel, 31.9 seconds. Ilham Halabi's pit stop, 31.6 seconds, and Brock Craig was the same, 31.6 seconds. Minutes of this race remaining, folks. They've done a total of 14 laps at this point. I did predict probably 26, but I think it's going to be less than that the way they're going. They're lapping around about the 3 minutes 50, so let's revise that. They probably have about another 8 laps of this race remaining. See now Armin Haziq closing in on Brock Craig, and this is for position, so we'll see what Armin Haziq can do here for YLab 01, taking a wide entry exit there in Indianapolis, and now into Anaj. Very important to get a good exit off that. You can see Brock got a better exit, and you can see he's now gaining a couple of car lengths for that effort, and we'll see now the slipstream effect of these cars just starting to kick in as we come up to the Porsche curves. If anyone is watching this for the first time tonight and wondering what this esport is, well, you're looking at iRacing, folks, and it's a racing simulator esport where you can race anyone in the world, and you can race in a lot of different categories. You've got your NASCAR, if you like your oval racing. You've got your trucks, Xfinity, right up to the top level of NASCAR, and you can go from a rookie to a pro. And if you become a pro driver and you're in the NASCAR Pro Championship, which isn't open to everyone, you compete for $10,000 if you take that out. On the road side of things, you can race in anything from a Mazda Miata up to the Formula One. The Formula One has its own pro league, which they also compete for $10,000. And then you also got your GT3 Pro League, which is part of the Blancpain series on there. For any Aussies, you got your V8 supercars if that's your fancy. But yeah, go and check out iRacing.com, have a look, and if you like, join up and have a run. While I was yabbering on there, Ahmed Haziq has made that move on Brock Craig, and he's moved up now to 4th position. Looking at Martin Silvassi out here, fantastic lead at the moment. That gap 20 seconds. Ilham Halabi, he's moved up into 2nd, and shoring up that championship win. Of course, for you guys joining us just now, he is the favourite to take out the prize, and he will win a Caterham drive day from Caterham Motorsports. So fantastic prize to get into a real Caterham and have a run. Riding with Brock Craig there, you can see how much of the curb they're all using. They're not being shy of throwing these cars across the curb. Of course, if they're in a HPD, they'd be a lot shyer, because those cars, if you get them up on the curb, can cause a lot of underside damage. Let's have a look at this entry, Macau Sim Racing Team 1. We haven't seen a lot of it tonight. Running quite consistently in 7th, where they started. And yeah, their last lap, 3 minutes 55. But sitting around about midfield, right behind him is George Johnson, who's closing up at a reasonable rate, but not... he won't catch him for a little longer yet. So the gap from Ilham Halabi, folks, up to Martin Silvassi, 21 seconds. So I don't think they're going to see the Trick Sim Sports car until it crosses the line in 22 minutes. That car's just been unbeatable tonight. It's led every lap of this race, and we're up to lap 17. Well, it's led 14 of the 17 laps anyway. Yeah, I'm sure the drivers are starting to get a little bit weary. Running around by yourself can get a little bit monotonous, and you've got to make sure you keep your concentration up. Otherwise, you could find yourself into a barrier pretty quickly. It's probably harder to do these races when you have a small field than it is if you're in a battle for the whole race, because these races start to feel more like a 3-hour enduro instead of a 90-minute enduro. So this gap from Federico back to George Johnson is still around about 3.1 seconds. Looking at their lap times, George took 0.3 of a second out of Federico, and that's over 13.5 kilometres. So I don't think he's going to catch him, but stranger things have happened. If something happens to Federico, George will be all over him. That's what I was talking about. Federico there sliding. He's going to lose a bit of time on this, especially on the long straight, and I think George can potentially see a bit of light coming in, as in an opportunity to get up to 7th. So while these guys battle on, let's go back and have a look at the number 7. Just coming out of the pits now, Hugo Silva. That should be his final pit stop here. 45.9 seconds was the stop on this vehicle, and sitting in 10th, up 1 position from where they started. Just nursing the car. He's on cold tyres. He's going to have to wait for the temperature to get up on them. So just nursing the car Down through the S's up towards Tetraroo. Well, that's not nursing, and that's looks like he's got hardware problem on that car. Something's failing. Stay with him for a minute and see. Yeah, he's definitely got a big steering problem on that car. I'd say that's a steering failure, and yeah, big hit there. He'll have to see if he can either limp it around. You can see stones being flung off the underside of this vehicle. So what he does here, does he have any steering whatsoever? Seems to have got it up to speed. That was a very bizarre, lazy hit into the wall there. Let's jump back and see what's he doing now. Jump back and have a look at that. See here, he's starting to, maybe he's reaching for something, I'm not sure, but backed off, coming around Tetra Rouge there, thinking the problem's all solved, and the car just drifted across the road here, straight into the wall. Very strange indeed. See now he's just come through Mulsanne, and he's no doubt going to bring that car back in for service. But let's have a look at Armin Haziq, Brock Craig here fighting for position. Armin now in for his final stop. Brock will go through and take that position. So his last stop, 41.4 seconds. You can see it up there. His target stop, this one, will be 31 seconds if he can knock 10 seconds off this. And we'll see if he stays in the car. And looking at our retirements, folks, Andika Ramamulana has parked that car as we thought he would. Paul Nelson and Indra Ferianto also retired from this race. We're down to 10. And we can see now Armin Haziq taking service. Looks like he's going to stay in the car. He comes out 13 seconds. Very, very short stop indeed. And you can also see Tim Shinosky in taking service, as well as Harland Sanders taking their final stop. 14 minutes of this race to go. And you can see Tim Shinosky, great stop there. He beats Harland out, jumping a position, 14 seconds. And Harland now comes out, 25.4 seconds was his stop. Hi Anthony, welcome to RRTV's Combox, mate. You scared me there, you woke me up.
Doesn't keep you company, mate?
Yeah, no worries. We're having a look at your car out there at the moment, Martin Silvassi. Big lead you guys have.
Yeah, man, yeah. Car's freakishly awesome, so chuck Martin in the seat, but very confident he can bring it home.
Yeah, he's it's pretty much managing the gap, but I was saying to the viewers earlier tonight that once you got out in the lead, they're not going to see you because you're just stretching that gap lap after lap.
Yeah, it was good, man. We managed to get a strong car again this week and just get into a rhythm pretty quick. It's quite important around here, and it's quite easy to lose your concentration too because of the big straights, but Yeah, no, car's good, man, and having a good race so far. Bit of interesting lap traffic we've had a couple of times, but yeah, has to be expected.
Yeah, it must be a big difference because due to normal rounds, we're used to a lot of action and quite big fields, but because of the enduro, we're down to 10 cars at Le Mans, and it must feel like you're just time trialling around here at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right, man, and that's what I said to Martin earlier. We run our own race now and just hit our marks and make sure we just maintain, keep the tyres half decent as much as we can, and enjoy the race.
Yeah, that's it. And I was also saying to the viewers that when you're out here by yourself, it's actually, I think it's harder to maintain focus than it is if you're in a big heated battle for the whole race, because I think your mind starts wandering a little bit if you're out there by yourself.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. That's I thank God for programs like TeamSpeak and Discord, so we can keep in touch with each other just to wake each other up. But no, it's good, man. We're having a ball, and Martin's, as you know, he's really having a good crack at the championship this year, and wanted to give him something special to bring home. But interesting to see how it all pans out in the end.
Yeah, well, he basically, from what I understand, Ilham Halabi had to finish 15 or worse, probably DNF. And I was saying earlier that you guys are doing everything you possibly can, by winning this race to give Martin the best opportunity to take the championship. But at the moment, Ilham's sitting in second position. So there's not much I think you guys can do about it. If we had a bigger field, it probably would have been a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, that's right, man. But all we could really do was run our race and make sure we did the right things. But yeah, look, hats off to them and their team for a solid round of the year. And it's a shame that we couldn't get it up there earlier. But I'm pretty sure Martin would be stoked to take a second place podium finish.
Oh, for sure, it's an excellent effort by Martin, and I reckon if SRA runs this again next year, do you think you'll be running the full season?
Yeah, man, I think we'll both be back. We both enjoy the series and just really enjoy the fun it brings to sim racing for us. And look, Martin's only getting stronger and stronger every week, and he's a crazy talented kid who just like I said, each week he shows us really his talent. So he definitely deserves to be up the front with the big boys.
He definitely does. He's doing an awesome job out there, as he always does, and we've just got him on the screen now. And 20 laps of this race completed. Feels like we've been here all night, but I'm predicting probably 22, maybe 23 laps around here.
Yeah, so JRT's telling me we got 3 laps remaining after this one, so yeah, that'd make it, yeah. Will that make it? What are we at now?
20 laps now.
Yeah, so 23 laps it'll be. But yeah, look, interesting race and just a bit of fun, mate. I don't know what happened with Mike. Unfortunately, he had a couple of slowdowns early on, which hurt him and got him back to where he was with the battles.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still scratching my head what happened to Hugo Silva here. He came out of the pits and he basically got off the throttle. It looked like he had hardware issues, and then he drifted across and hit the fence and out of Tetra Rouge. But it looks like they've brought the car in, fixed it, and
I'll be back in 1 sec. I'll be back.
No worries. Whatever the problem was, looks like it's been resolved.
Alright, so we'll leave it at 20. You're alright.
So we've got Martin Silvassi in now, folks, for his final stop, which is why Anthony's gone. He'd be talking to him and getting that final adjustment done on their car. And we'll have a look at their pit stops. See him in there now. Very quick stop, 10.1 seconds there, Anthony.
Yeah, that's a nice little short fill to get us through to the end, man.
Yeah, I was just telling the viewers that you had to jump off probably to help him work out what he was going to do with that pit stop.
Yeah, crept up on me the old pit stop, but yeah, he was all good, he sorted, so...
Yeah, that's a good thing about iRacing, isn't it? That when you're in a team event like this, you can discuss with the driver through TeamSpeak or Discord, but you can also go in and make the adjustments for that car as well.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's always handy to have someone, just a second set of eyes to reinsure what you're doing. Like, thankfully enough, we have programs like JRT and Z1 which help with fuel strategies and tyre strategies. But yeah, sometimes just trying to press the buttons and adjust stuff while you're in a hot lap and while you're battling is a bit hard. So it's always good to have a second set of eyes and someone to look over your shoulder for you.
Yeah, it's brilliant that in a simulation like this that we've got that ability, and yeah, you're right, all these analytical tools that are available to the teams these days is fantastic, and it's come a long way in the 5 years I've been into this hobby.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, it's really good fun. Just makes the team races just a lot more interesting and a lot more team involved, It's not just someone sending you out in a car and there's a setup, there's a car. It's, you are getting the team involved. That's why, it makes it all that more challenging and a bit more fun.
Yeah, exactly right. And I know a lot of the pro teams at the very highest level, they actually have, I guess you could call them team engineers, that set all their cars up, and they take it very seriously. But of course, they're at the pinnacle of our esport.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're not at that point by any means, but we still manage to get our head wrapped around the cars a bit and just get out there and give it our best. Yeah,
there's a lot to it though, isn't it? In setting these up, it's just like setting up. Well, it is like setting up a real car. There's just so many variables, and you have to really be across it, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. But the thing that a lot of people get mistaken by is, setup is key. Where setup does help, but you also need to learn to drive the car for what the car is. So it's always recommended just jump in baseline and push your limits, see what you can and can't do, and then that's how we build our sets. So it works so far.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think a few people who don't know how to set a car up, as we can see now, Kin Kyong Ao just flashing his lights at his teammate. That was for position. That's cheeky. And he moves up to 8th position.
It's going to be an awkward dinner after that one, isn't it?
Yeah. These two, what's he going to do now is Frederico's woken up, so he's now going to have a crack back at him. But yeah, one thing I learned in my go-kart days is you start off on a baseline and you tune only one thing at a time, and just try to get the kart, or in this case the car, turning in or performing where you want. As now we see Frederico coming on the inside of Kin Kyong Ao. Don't touch panels. That was a bit cheeky. He returned it.
Yeah, look, the main thing people need to learn is there's no replacement for seat time. The more you can drive, the better you're going to get, no matter what you're driving. So definitely recommend getting out there and just enjoying some open practice sessions with the guys, see where you're at.
Yeah, definitely. And I reckon one way, as we see now, Frederico getting it all wrong. Where's his teammate? His teammate just gave him a wave as he went past. But these two are having a bit of fun. Yeah, I was going to say, one way a driver can develop a lot is if they're in a enduro and the car's not performing the way they want, but they stick it out and they get to the end, they can learn a lot about how to drive a car that's not perfect.
Yeah, for sure, man. And another good tip to do is if you're struggling to find the tenths or the seconds that you're chasing, you still to always hop into the faster driver's car and go into replay mode and just sit in the cockpit to see his marks and you can hear his braking, hear his throttle inputs, and you really get a grasp of how to drive the car in a different way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd do. I used to sit in the cockpit view, and even though I couldn't see the gears, I used to count the gears up and down to work out what gear they were in and what corner, where they were braking, accelerating, and what sort of line they were taking.
Yep, that's the way. Man, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to get back to Martin to enjoy his final lap after this one. So, all the best, and we'll see you. Well, that's it, isn't it? What happens from here?
Yeah, well, I get my Saturday nights back soon.
Yeah, so do I. Looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Anthony, thanks for popping in. Before you go, just give a shout out to your sponsors. Yeah,
just again, Trick Sim Sports. We've got Huskenfeld Engineering tonight on the car for Martin. HPP Simulations for myself. Got you guys. We've got a little RRTV on the side as well. Just to thank you guys for the series. And also, HRS Simulations.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can see a little sticker just as your car went past. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
No, man. You guys do wonders for the esports community. So it's only fair to pay back the respects.
Yeah, cheers. You've got 38 seconds to get out of here, down to wave your driver past, because he'll be on his last lap now.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. I'll see you later, eh?
Yep, no worries. See you, Anthony. So that was Anthony Winkleman, folks, teamed up here with Martin Silvassi for Trick Sim Sports, and they're coming in to take the win here. 17 seconds. He's going to cut it close. He may even have to do another lap after this. No doubt the team's probably telling him to lift, which he's now doing, so he doesn't have to do another 13 kilometres around here. And there we go, the white flag is out. Perfect timing here for Martin Silvassi, coming through the Ford chicanes for the final time here at Le Mans to take out round 11. This car is second in the championship. They had to pretty much win, which is what they did tonight. But unfortunately for them, Ilham Halabi is coming home second, so he will be our championship winner, and he will get the Caterham Motorsports drive or day drive. And I tell you what, that is one awesome prize Caterham Motorsports has put up. And of course, we've also got Pit Talk Asia and Renafatio Imperi Motorsport Management sponsoring this series. As we've seen our Ilham Halabi coming across the second. Aman Hasik, he will finish in third for YLab 01, and another great effort for them, up one position from where they started. Home in fourth will be David Lord, and he's teamed up with Brock Craig, and they will bring this car home and put it to bed. So this car's down 2 positions from where it started. Home in fifth will be Tim Schnosky for Western PAI Racing Yellow, and they are up 5 positions, so they will get the Mover of the Night award. And Harlan Sanders now comes home in 6th position. See, fairways down is George Johnson for Slow Johnson Racing, coming home in 7th. It's still coming up through the Porsche curves here, and another great season that they can tick off and have a well-earned rest from the GTE Asia Pacific Series. Of course, SRA is going to have a break for the rest of this season. They may be back towards the end of the year or early next year. It's nothing is been set in stone as yet, but tune into RRTV for the latest news on this series, and as soon as we know anything, we'll let you guys know. And we can see now George Johnson coming across in the number 83, and he will finish in 7th position. See Kin Kyung Ao and Frederico, these two are still fighting for position. They're just having fun. They're both from the same team. We can see Kin Kyung Ao leading Frederico as they're coming down 8th and 9th respectively. And Kin Kyung Ao just beats his teammate Frederico across the line for 8th and 9th in the Macau Sim Racing team. So a great way for them to finish off the season. And of course Hugo Silva, we saw him in the wall earlier, also from Macau Sim Racing 2. He will be the last finisher tonight, 1 lap down. And they've had a few issues with that car tonight, but they've stuck through and they're up 1 position to come home in 10th. And what's he going to do? I thought he was going to go in the pits. Got to finish first, Mr. Silva. Oh, again, he's got some real issues with getting that car to turn, and heavily into the wall. Just did not want to turn. I would suspect he has some sort of hardware problem on that car for the way it just went straight ahead as he limps it across the line now to finish in 10th position. And our retirements tonight, the number 9, Andika Ramamolana was driving that car when it retired. Paul Nelson also retired, the 55, and Indra Ferriento in the number 6 retired. They all pretty much retired due to some sort of technical issue or car failure. There was no big incidents that took them out. So, yeah. But that, folks, brings us to the end of the Sim Racer Asia Pacific GTE Series. Our congratulations goes to Ilham Halabi, who takes out this season, and he wins that Caterham Motorsports drive. Martin Silvassi and Anthony Winkleman, they did everything they possibly could. They will come home in 2nd in the series, so congratulations to them as well. See now Ilham Halabi, Martin Silvassi coming past. They'll probably do what are they going to do? Their donuts. There we go. It's time to let it rip, so to speak. So folks, looking ahead on RRTV, this week we will be back on Monday night for the first round of Season 4 of the Skip Barber Monday Night Lights. And for those just joining us, that is basically the Australia-New Zealand Club Strength of Field race. And it's starting to get quite a following with a lot of European drivers coming down to join us. And the reason for that is that round is normally in the top 5 of the world's top splits, and the people racing for the championship in the Skip Barber come down because they can get as many points as they possibly can through the week. Gotta love these autoplays. I thought I turned that off, but obviously I didn't. But anyway, folks, I'm Bernie Weemers. I've been your commentator tonight. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Sim Racers Asia 90-minute race here at Le Mans for the final round, round 11. But until then, actually, we have an interview to go to. Then we'll finish up. Hi Anthony and Martin, welcome to RRTV's Combox. You caught me just as I was about to go off air. Congratulations guys, awesome win.
Yeah, thanks man, thanks. Great job Marty bringing it home too.
Yeah,
good,
thanks Bernie.
Good donut too, Martin.
When I finally figured out how to turn the traction control off, sure.
Yeah, I thought you must have stopped to let Anthony in the car, but he wasn't quick enough by the looks of it.
No way. No, he deserved it, mate. It's been a great season from him, so definitely deserves to let the tyres have it.
Yeah, it's been a really good run by both of you guys through the season, and you know, I was saying to Anthony, Martin, you did everything you possibly could to take out the championship tonight, and you guys did everything right by leading the race, winning it, but unfortunately Ilham came home second, which sort of put a damper to the end of the competition.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, it's pretty much all we could have done, really, is get the maximum today, and hopefully hope that Ilham has a bad race. They didn't. He's driven a really consistent season, and and what can I say? He definitely deserves it. Had really good results all year round.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely been up there consistent and had a great season, and I agree, he definitely deserves that prize. And yeah, it's just been a fantastic season.
Yeah, it certainly has. Definitely, I would want to thank, obviously, Anthony for jumping on with me, giving me the best shot possible. It's been good racing with him over the last couple of weeks, so I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, anyway, I'm going to let you guys go very shortly, but Martin, it's your turn to give a shout out to all your sponsors that's helped you and Anthony throughout this season.
Yeah, sure. We just want to thank Trick Sim Sports, custom sim rig. You can go check out their Facebook page, and that's it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for popping in, guys, and congratulations. Second in the series. First, once again, tonight. You guys came on very, very strong towards the end of this season. So, tell you what, if you can take that form into another the next series next year, I reckon you guys will be, well, you'll be hopefully right up there leading it.
Yeah, definitely go for world domination next season, mate.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for popping in. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers, Bernie.
Well, thanks, Bernie. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
So, folks, that was Martin Silvassi, Anthony Winkleman in the Trick Sim Sports entry and winning tonight's round of the Le Mans 90-minute Enduro. But, folks, that's the end of our broadcast. Until next time, I hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully you'll come back and join us on Monday night. But if not, we will be around Wednesday night for the Wankel Australia-New Zealand Championship, and of course Thursday night we've got the NASCAR trucks for the Thursday Night Thunder. But until then, folks, I'm Bernie Weemers. I've been your commentator tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it, and good night.